We are going to be reacting to some of the latest mock drafts around the media. Now, the Raiders do sit at number 6 right now, and there's so many different directions that the Raiders can go in at this position. So I'm going to look at some different mock drafts that have been posted and reacting to them and giving you guys my thoughts on all of this. But before we do get started with this video, if this is the very first time you guys are coming across the channel and you love daily Raider content, then hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this. With that being said, let's get started with the very first one. Coming from the NFL, from Cynthia Freeland, she has the Raiders selecting offensive lineman Tyler Booker out of Alabama, saying, "I know some people might argue an interior offensive lineman in the top 10 isn't sexy, but I don't know if there's anything more desirable than creating a fortress for a quarterback to operate behind." The Alabama product kept his base lowest for the longest of any offensive lineman in this draft class, and his size is right in the sweet spot for an interior blocker. First and foremost, Cynthia, shut up. Nah, I'm just joking. Now, of course, this caught me by surprise. I don't have the Raiders selecting an offensive lineman this high. I feel like the Raiders could definitely address that in free agency, or maybe wait later in the draft to go and select somebody else. Heck, if I was to draft an offensive lineman, I'd get a tackle, maybe Will Campbell, maybe I forgot the other guy's name. But to get an offensive lineman here at number 6, I feel like is a little bit too rich for me. I do understand what she's trying to say about, protecting the quarterback, but there's so many other players that we could go at in this position. If we want to get an interior offensive lineman, maybe trade back in the first round, collect a little bit more picks, but I don't think getting Tyler Booker here at this position is it. Maybe I'm wrong, but what do you guys think about this? Now, the next mock that I'm going to be reacting to is from the NFL again, from Chad Reuter. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but he has the Raiders selecting running back Ashton Jeanty with the 6th overall pick. If the Raiders opt to ride with a veteran quarterback next season, someone like Sam Darnold or Russell Wilson, I'd expect the team's new regime to use this pick on an offensive weapon. Vegas missed having a bell cow back this past year, and Jeanty's combination of vision, balance, speed, and power project him to have a highly productive NFL career. Now, Jeanty has been a name that I know a lot of people have been talking about, and I know the running back position is going to be really crucial for helping the quarterback position. And I know Pete Carroll, with his influx and his experience having a bell cow running back like Marshawn Lynch in his days with the Seattle Seahawks, it definitely helped out the quarterback position. And as much as I do love Ashton Jeanty, and as much as I do believe he's going to be a great running back in the league, and I don't think that he would be a bad option for the Raiders moving forward, but for me, I wouldn't go Ashton Jeanty just for the mere fact, I've said it before and I'm gonna say it again, that this draft class is filled with so many great running backs that we could get later on in the draft. Now, would it hurt to get Ashton Jeanty at the spot? No, it wouldn't. And I do believe that he could do wonders over here in Las Vegas. And if we were to select him, I wouldn't be mad at all. But my opinion and my thoughts and how I feel about this, I would rather go in a different direction. Now, moving on to CBS Sports, Chris Trapasso, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, has the Raiders actually making a huge trade, trading up to the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft. Now, we are going to be trading with the Tennessee Titans, giving up the 6th overall pick, the 2nd round pick in this year's draft, a 3rd round pick in this year's draft, and next year's 1st and 4th round pick to move up to number 1, and also getting a 5th round pick in this year's draft and return. So with the number 1 overall pick, the Raiders do select quarterback Shedeur Sanders, saying, "Let's run back the idea of Tom Brady and company making a move to land Sanders at number 1, just so they assure themselves they land him in this draft." Now, that's a really bold move for him to have the Raiders moving up that high. And there is a possibility, there has been a lot of rumors and reports going around about this. We don't know whether or not it's true, but to give up a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and next year's 1st and 4th it's really high. But I know we're not giving up Max Crosby, so that's good. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, Shedeur Sanders is definitely my number 1 quarterback that I would want in this year's draft. It goes Sanders, Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Jalen Moreau, the list goes on and on and on. But if the Raiders really do want to get their guy, and if they do believe that Shedeur Sanders is their guy, why not do it, man? I know that we're going to be giving up a little bit of the future, but if the Raiders don't address the quarterback position in free agency like I expect them to, and if they want to move forward with the rookie quarterback and they want to get their guy, if Tom Brady believes that Shedeur Sanders can be that guy, if Pete Carroll can coach this guy up to be the franchise quarterback right out the gate, like a Jaden Daniels and even a CJ Stroud the year prior, then heck, go get your guy. If it takes giving up multiple picks, go and get them. But if the Raiders do bring in somebody like Sam Darnold or Russell Wilson or one of these other guys, there's really no need to trade up that much to go get him. I'd rather just wait for another quarterback, whether it's Jackson Dart, Jalen Moreau in this year's draft, and just let them sit down for a little bit until it's their time to take over. But you guys let me know what you guys think. Do you think that we're giving up too much, or do you guys feel like it's not enough? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, according to USA Today, they have the Raiders selecting at number 6, wide receiver Tetairoa McMillan, aka T-Mac, saying unless Las Vegas pushes its chips for Sam Darnold or another established veteran in free agency, this remains a spot to watch for a potential trade up for a quarterback. As it stands, however, the massive McMillan at 6'5", 212 pounds can help the Raiders move the chains consistently and finish off drives as an imposing red zone target. Now, I would definitely love this move, man. I would love the Raiders to get T-Mac and bring him over here to Las Vegas. I think that he could definitely be a future wide receiver one, be a solidified wide receiver one for years to come. And whenever we do get that quarterback, whoever it may be, I think he could be that guy for us. Someone like a Mike Evans. And then pairing him up alongside of Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers on the offensive side of the ball, I think it's a perfect match for the Raiders, a perfect fit for the Raiders. So if the Raiders do go in a direction of getting a free agent quarterback, then I think getting a skill position like Tetairoa McMillan or heck, maybe even Ashton Jeanty wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. Now, according to The Ringer, they have the Raiders selecting defensive tackle Mason Graham, saying Las Vegas is entering a new era with head coach Pete Carroll and general manager John Spytek at the helm, and the team looks to bolster up the trenches with its first pick of the new regime. Graham is a highly disruptive interior defender who can defeat blocks, hold his ground against the run, and collapse the pocket against the pass. Now, Graham is definitely another name that I would love the Raiders to pick at number 6, just for the mere fact that, you know, we could add more depth to that defensive line, add another guy that could rush the passer, a guy that can disrupt the offensive line, pairing him up alongside of Christian Wilkins on his defensive line with Max Crosby, maybe even bringing Malcolm Kuntz or Caleb on Chase on back to this team. I think this defensive line would do wonders. And looking at what happened in the Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes, the Eagles defensive line got to him multiple times, and they were able to blow the Chiefs out of the water in the Super Bowl on the grandest stage of them all. So if the Raiders can somewhat duplicate that and build a scary defensive line, I'm all for it. Now, the last mock that I want to kind of go over is from the 33rd team. They have the Raiders selecting at number 6, cornerback Will Johnson, saying the Raiders are left without a dance partner at the top of this year's quarterback class. Instead, they find themselves staring at the best player available at a premium position, which just so happens to be a need with Will Johnson. And in a division with Sean Payton, Andy Reid, and Jim Harbaugh, there's no such thing as too many good cornerbacks. Pete Carroll knows a thing or two about defense, and his past team's foundation was built on the secondary. And they're right, because if Pete Carroll can get his hands on a number 1 cornerback like Will Johnson and build that secondary to be somewhat of like the Legion of Boom, I'm not saying that they're going to be the same as them because it's going to be kind of hard to replicate, but getting Will Johnson to be that first premier piece to add to this team and to this defense, I think would do wonders for this defense. And we haven't had a shutdown cornerback in quite a long time since Nnamdi Asomugha, to be honest with you guys. I know we have a lot of solid players right now with Nate Hobbs, who knows if he returns. We have Jack Jones, but other than that, there really isn't anybody out there. I know Jacora and Bennett kind of did a pretty good job this past season, but to have that solidified number 1 cornerback, we just haven't had that. And Will Johnson would be that perfect piece for this defense, especially in the secondary. So with all that being said though, Raider Nation, I wanted to go over this and just react to a couple of these picks. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to be dropping my first 7-round mock draft. I promised you guys that after the Super Bowl, I would drop a 7-round mock draft. So before I did that, I just want to kind of react to some of the picks that a lot of other people have the Raiders selecting, a lot of these other outlets, other websites and whatnot, and just kind of get a feel of where the Raiders can be selecting at that number 6 position, or whether we move up or trade back, whatever it may be. There's going to be a lot of good decisions for the Raiders to make on draft day. But if you guys had the decision to pick at number 6, who would be your guy? Let me know down in the comments below. Until then, this is your boy Small Raider and your boys, yeah.